is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right, welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. It's totally free of charge. What do you got to lose? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Once again, thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link in there that takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We finally just hit the 10,000 member mark. And it is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I have internet access, I am putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It is called the New York Giants, The Gridiron. It is my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Well, guys, here we are again. Oh, yeah. The biggest thing is, it all starts, everything all starts, of course, in your division. Doesn't matter. If week 1, Giants, we beat the Ravens, man, 31-3. It doesn't matter. It looks nice, this, that, and the other thing, doesn't matter. It starts in your division. If you can't beat people in your division, obviously you ain't never going to win your division. You got, if you make the playoffs, how absolutely almost impossible it is, literally, to go 0-6 in your division and try to make the playoffs, or even 1-5 or 2-4. Because it just goes to tell you. Like I said, if you can't beat the teams in your division, it means that, pretty much they're better than you. So they have a, theoretically a better chance maybe to make the playoffs than you. If you can't beat anybody in your division, how are you supposed to want to come in second? You got to hope all the other teams lose to everybody else that's outside the division. And the thing is, it's very disheartening is that, what happened like last week. Oh my, this is purple. Why am I purple? Hold on. There we go. You gotta be blue. Giant blue. Booyah! Here we go. Now we're talking, huh? Now we're cooking, right? But I mentioned this before, is that you're supposed to be gaining on your competition inside the division. Last year we lost 2 tough games to the Commanders. I said this 3 trillion times. We should have, could have, would I get. But we had a kicker. Chances are we might have beaten the Commanders last year. But anyway, we lost 2 close games to the Commanders. Last week we took a step backwards, right, against the Commanders. I'm going to go over it just a little bit here. It's like maybe the Commanders aren't that great after all. Maybe, huh? Or maybe they're not, the greatest, as great as they were. So I'm going to go over that a little bit, but it's like we're taking steps backwards. With Dak and his streak here. The last time we did beat the Cowboys, right? Andy Dalton. Dak was hurt, and Andy Dalton took his spot. And, we beat him by 4. It was 23-19, I think. I just looked. I think it was 23-19. But basically, the Cowboys came into Giant Stadium, which is a home away from home for the Cowboys. They come into Giant Stadium and they're partying like it's 1999. That's a home game for them, right? So the Cowboys came in the Giants Stadium with their backup quarterback, and we just barely beat them. I mean, yeah, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Where are we at here? Is this it? Here we go. Let me. I mean, this is just share the screen. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, oh, there we are. Okay, let's share the screen here. Let's look at the misery. Right. Let's look at the misery here. Okay. Right. So I stopped. Right. So basically, 2016. I was right. Remember the year that we went to the playoffs. We found a way to we kept all these close games. It was like 2022 all over again. Right. 2016, we found we had a lot of close games. We found ways to win them. Right, so you got in 2016 here, right? I'll put them to the top here. So the top two games are in 2016. Okay. Yeah, we won 20-19, right? And Dallas. Then we won at home 10-7. We scored 10 points and we wound up winning. But our defense was really good that year. But I can't remember who the Nimrod was. But there was a chance we could have lost this game. But this was something that went in the Giants' favor. So hey, we've had 35 trillion things go against the Giants. Well, this is one of the things that went for the Giants. I can't. The Cowboys had the ball at the end of the game. They were driving. They weren't, if the wide completed a pass, the wide receiver, I can't remember who it was, decided to stay in bounds. If he caught the pass, he picked up some yardage. If he would have ran out to the sideline, he could have gotten out of bounds, stopped the clock. So they either could have maybe tried a real long field goal or maybe tried another pass play or something like that. But the Cowboys had no more timeouts left. So the Nimrod who caught the ball stayed in bounds, got tackled in bounds, and basically the clock expired just before they were getting ready to snap the ball. They were getting set. Cowboys, the alignment and everybody got set right as pretty much as the time expired. So they didn't have a chance to snap the ball and stop the clock. But, there was a chance, once again, you take the good with the bad. This was good for the Giants. We've had, so many bad things go for us. So that was one of the good things. The guy did not decide to run out of bounds. I don't know why, but to stop the clock, once again, I don't know why, but it worked out well for the Giants. But here, right. And then we got we won another tough one, 10-7, right? But you go right. See, we beat the Cowboys 3 times in a row. But if you go here, right, and I get rid of those 3 L's right there, the 3 L's down at the bottom right-hand corner, get them, boop, they're gone. Okay, here we go. And once again, we'll get rid of them. Oh, screen a little bit smaller and get rid of them. And there we go. There's the streak right there. The only time it was 23-19. The time we beat the Cowboys was January 3rd, 2021. So basically the last game, or maybe the second to last game, whatever it was, of the 2020 season. The Cowboys came to town with Andy Dalton as their quarterback. And, Andy could throw the ball. He can win some games. Yeah, he could certainly win some games without question. But Andy Dalton came to town. I think we sacked him 6 times. We picked him off once or whatever. But we wound up winning 23-19. That was the only time since 2017 that we've beaten the Cowboys. So out of the past 14 times, we've lost 13 out of 14. And the one time we did lose, Dak Prescott was not the quarterback. Now, had quite possibly Dak Prescott been the quarterback in the game, we might have lost that one as well, too. But you can see it, right? Let's count all the W's. The W's are times that the Cowboys won. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a win for the Giants right here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 out of the last 16 times. Right, so 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, right? 8 seasons, 16 games. 15 out of the last 16 times the Cowboys have beaten us. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I mean, I said, look at some of these, right? We lost 40-0, then we lost 49-17. I mean, last year wasn't bad, 20-15. Okay. And we lost by a touchdown here, 27-20. I think we were winning, I think, at halftime. We were winning at halftime. It was 13-10 at halftime. We gave up 14 points. At halftime was still a close game. Right, we came back a little too late there, but so it was 13-10 at halftime, and then by the time we got into the fourth quarter, it was 27-10, pretty much over. So, but are we ever going to beat? The only thing with this is that the only thing more embarrassing to me than that 15 out of 16, right, was that for me being the old fart. Is that from 1971 to 1979, 9 seasons in a row. The Dallas Cowboys, now this happened in 4 different stadiums, mind you, but from 71 to 79, 9 consecutive seasons, the Dallas Cowboys came to New York and won in New York. 9 years in a row, the Cowboys won, not necessarily in New York. The Yale Bowl, right? And they won in New York, they won in Connecticut, and they won in New Jersey, right? So they won in Yankee Stadium, 71, 72, 71, 79, 73 and 74, they won in the Yale Bowl. 75, they won in Shea Stadium. 76, 7, 8, 9, they won at Giant Stadium. 9 seasons in a row. The Cowboys came into New York and beat the Giants. I mean, that's to me, that's the most embarrassing thing of all. 9 straight losses at home to an opponent. I mean, that's really, really bad. But I mean, just goes to show you this is right. Oh, let me share this here. Let me show you. Let's see, Giants' last roster. Okay. Last time we beat Dak Prescott. Show you what the Giants roster was. Here we go. I mean, this is some funny stuff here. Giants' last roster to beat Dak Prescott delivers a shocking reality check. Look away, Giant fans, it says right up there. Look away. Look away. Look away. There's a stupid video in the corner over here. Thank you, God. All right. As sad as it is to admit, the New York Giants rivalry with the Dallas Cowboys has really been anything but over the last 8 seasons. Cowboys have flat out dominated the G-Men, winning all but 1 game since the 2017 season began. That was Dak Prescott's second year in the league after the Cowboys spent a 4th-round pick on the Mississippi State quarterback in 2016. Prescott's rookie year is the last time the Giants beat the Cowboys franchise quarterback, too. As shocking as that might be to believe. While the Giants have defeated Dallas since then, late in the 2020 season to be exact, Prescott missed all but 5 games that year and was not the Cowboys' starting signal caller for that Giants victory. Again, that means that the Giants have not defeated a Dak Prescott-led Cowboys team since he was a rookie 9 years ago. That's insane. They said the only thing that's more insane is the 9 years in a row the Cowboys came from 71 to 79 and beat the Giants in New York 9 years in a row. That's really insane. Pretty much that was all. Pretty much, I guess that was all Roger Staubach. Right. But anyway, to put things into perspective, just look at how crazy different the Giants roster was the last time that New York beat Prescott. Right. Giants offense, the last time they beat Dak Prescott, had Eli Manning, Rashad Jennings, Odell Beckham Jr., Victor Cruz, Will Tye. Now, this is Victor Cruz's last season in the NFL, so he was not the same. He was not the same. He came back and had He had one nice go of it in the 2016 season. He caught like 40-something passes, close to 50. He had one touchdown, one receiving touchdown the whole season, and that was his end of his career because of the injuries. He just came back from the injuries. He just was not the same. Our tight end was Will Tye. Our left tackle was Eric Flowers. Marshall Newhouse was our left guard. Weston Rickberg was our center. John Jerry was our right guard. And Bobby Hart was our right tackle. Remember, we took Flowers in the first round of the 15 draft, and we took Bobby Hart in the 7th round of the 15 draft. Those were our 2 tackles. I mean, oh my goodness. We beat the Cowboys with this lineup right here. Wow. I mean, I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, there's only 10 here. I know Sterling Shepard was also on the field as well, too. That was his rookie season. So they didn't put, I don't know why they're missing like maybe Sterling Shepard. They only have 2 wide receivers. So I don't know, But Sterling Shepard was on the field as well that day, too. Looking back at the last time the Giants roster to beat Dak Prescott is shocking. To recap, the Giants still had Eli Manning as their quarterback the last time this team beat Prescott. His starting running back was Rashad Jennings in his last NFL season. His wide receivers were Odell Beckham and Victor Cruz, who retired following the 2016 season. Will Tye was the tight end, and he played his last regular season snap in 2017. The offensive line of Giants was still hoping that Eric Flowers' experiment would work out. Marshall Newhouse hasn't been in the league since 2020. Weston Rickberg and John Jerry have been in the league since 2019, and Bobby Hart's been out since 2022. The fact that none of these players are in the league anymore isn't shocking since the last win over Prescott was nearly a decade ago, but sure puts things into perspective. As Anthony Rivardo said in that X post, enough is enough, beat the Cowboys. I mean, it's just, it's like, you look at that roster the Giants had, and it's like, we beat the Cowboys. It's like, how do we beat anybody? Right? So, but I mean, it's just, Dak Prescott can win his 14th straight game against the Giants on Sunday, which would be the second longest streak ever. As a rookie in 2016, the Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott first career start was against the Giants, and the Cowboys lost. Later in his rookie year, Prescott and the Cowboys lost once again to the Giants. It's now 2025, and Prescott still hasn't lost to the Giants since. Prescott has won his last 13 starts against the Giants, and if the Cowboys beat the Giants again on Sunday, it makes 14 in a row. He'll have the second longest winning streak for a quarterback against one opponent in NFL history. Dolphins quarterback Bob Griese, who won 17 consecutive starts against the Bills from 68 to 79, has the all-time record. Prescott could tie Griese's record if the Cowboys sweep the Giants both this year and next year, which is quite possible. Only 2 other quarterbacks have ever won 13 consecutive games against the same opponents. 49ers quarterback Steve Young won 13 consecutive starts against the Rams from 87 to 98. Patriots quarterback Tom Brady won 13 consecutive starts against the Bills from 2003 to 2010. What Prescott has done to the Giants is a rare feat in NFL history. The Cowboys are 5.5 point favorites. So, I got this here. What else we got here? Okay, it talks about the same thing. Dak Prescott has a 13-game winning streak against the Giants. He did play. He played well. He played well. What wound up hurting him was the drop balls. I'm going to talk about ABCD Lamb here in a little bit, but Dak did very well. I mean, their defense really played well. They gave up a lot of points in the both teams did. Then the second half they started. I got to move my legs just right when I hit my buddy Randy down there. But both defenses really started buckling down, toward the latter half of the game, and tight defensive battle there. But they're certainly moving the ball early on. But ABCD dropped I think 2 passes on the final drive, dropped like 4 balls. I mean, and the ball, There was one that was, it would have been a tough one, but it was a couple of them that were like right there. Dak standing in, getting ready to get waffled, and he fires the ball down the field to your $34 million guy. And he hits him right in the hands, and he drops the ball. It's like, I mean, I know he had, I think, 7 catches for over 100 yards, and he had a couple good catches and all that, but, you want the money, man. When it's the final drive and you got a chance to take the lead and you choke. So, I mean, again, the second half, their defense, and let's not forget, they got Clark, right? To clog up the middle. We got Sexy. Well, they got Clark. They don't have Parsons anymore, but now they got Clark. And I said right at the end of the game, they did the last quarter or whatever it was, they did a very good job against Saquon, right? And I said their defense only gave up 3 points in the second half to the Eagles. So now they do have some issues in the secondary, which we're going to go over in just a second here. But they're going to score some points. They're going to score 20-something points against the Giants, probably at least. Can the Giants match them? I mean, so the Cowboys did a very good job of shutting down the Eagles with the Eagles offensive line and with Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon had like 60-something yards. Right? First game of the season at home, all the hype against the Cowboys. At 60-something yards, I think, rushing. So, what did him? It hurts. But once again, it's very difficult, it makes everybody much better when you have a quarterback that can run the ball, like Hurts can, right? Same thing with Daniels. Daniels makes everything else better, right? Because he can run the ball, he can throw, and he can run, right? But Cowboys look good. I mean, every week is different. The ball bounces differently every week, all this stuff and everything. But the Cowboys really, for really not really helping their roster much at all, and for losing Parsons, they played pretty damn well against the Eagles week 1. So this is gonna be their opening day game, obviously, right? The Giants gotta wait till we play the Chiefs, but Cowboys look good, really look good. I was surprised. So the Giants, if they don't step it up, boy. As I said, you gotta, catch up to in your own division, and we're not. It seems like, are we getting worse? Are we getting full? I said we had two tough losses last year. We lost by 7. But at halftime it was 13-10, right? And we lost a tough one at home to the Cowboys once again last year. So a couple of one-score games. Let's see what we got. As I said, it was the same thing with the Commanders last year. We lost 2 tough one-score games to the Commanders last year. Right? This year we lost by 15 points. We lost by almost 3 scores. And if Jaden Daniels didn't throw that whatever it was, the intentional grounding at the end of the first half, somebody blocked Carter coming in off the edge. If he throws an incomplete pass on it stops the clock or whatever. They kick a field goal there. They win possibly maybe 24-6, and that would have been 3 scores. So are we catching the Cowboys, or are we getting farther away? Because we keep adding talent in the drafts, through free agency. We keep adding talent. Apparently, on paper, we keep getting better, but we keep getting farther and farther away from the. All right. It's kind of, leads you to the Packers did what the Giants couldn't do. As I said, and the Packers, right? They lost Clark, right? The Packers had a good defense. Have a good defense, and they look like obviously one of the top couple teams as of right now. Injuries are going to pop up. I think the Commanders lost 2 players for the season. Injuries are going to pop up. So right now, the Packers, and the Eagles or whatever, they're probably like the teams to beat as of right now. Long way to go, but you just sort of have to, we lost Micah McFadden week 1, right? Maybe for the whole season, maybe for most of the season. The Commanders lost 2 guys due to injuries. So last year, as I said, I've said this 3 trillion times, the best team in the NFC last year never made it to the championship game because they were totally decimated by injuries on defense. That was the Lions, totally decimated. A lot of guys banged up or missing, right? It's one of the reasons why they had a hard time stopping the Commanders in the playoffs. So to me, the best team in the NFC last year never made it to the championship game because they, to me, this is how I look at it. They were not allowed to. Right? They played. They were not allowed to because they kept getting. I mean, I know it's next man up, but that's total. That's the team talk. That's the coach talk. Oh, next man up. Oh, we didn't get it done. No, it's because they weren't allowed because they're injuries. I said what the Eagles did. Well, put the third string players in for the Eagles on defense, second and third string. Let's see how far they get. They're not going to the Super Bowl. Not happening. See, the Eagles were allowed to because they had a great team. Don't get me wrong, but they were very, very healthy all year long. A lot of these other teams, they get totally decimated by injuries. So it's, at the end of the season, are you allowed to continue your season? Once again, I said, next man up. We have our 14th string guard in there. Next man up. He's got to do it. If you're allowed to have your starters in there at the end of the season, whatever the football gods have in store for you, right? If they're going to totally decimate your whole team by injuries, you're pretty much screwed. If you're allowed to make it, rather healthy, toward the end of the season, into the playoffs and all that, you might have a shot. It's very, very, very difficult, that team totally decimated by injuries and, go really far. But unfortunately for the Commanders, it looks like they lost a couple of their star players, possibly for the whole season. So, but I mean, with the Packers, right? I mean, you look what the Commanders did to the Giants, and then you look what the Packers were able to do to the Commanders, especially on the defensive side. It's like, well, how did the Packers? I mean, I said that they had like 50-something yards. Do I have it up there? Cowboys. Yeah, there we go. I mean, the Commanders got, where are we at? Team stats. Commanders had, let's see, rushing. They ran the ball 19 times for 51 yards. Averaged 2.7 yards per carry. They averaged almost like 7 yards a carry against the Giants. They averaged like 2.5 times the amount of yards rushing against the Giants. Now, one of the things also, okay, which is absolutely huge, there's a lot to do with the running game, is that the Packers were up and they stayed up. They were up 17-3 going into the fourth quarter. So when you're up, the Packers can dictate on offense what they're going to do. Maybe pass a little bit, maybe a little bit of running, keep the other team off balance. When you're behind and the clock's a ticking, you don't really want to run the ball too much, right? So when you're behind, you don't really run the ball very much, right? So you usually pass the ball, right? So the Commanders were ahead against the Giants, so they could kind of dictate what they wanted to do a lot, as far as running and passing and all, right? But, I mean, even still, right, they had 51 yards rushing. I mean, all the time, also, too, look, right, all the times that Jaden Daniels stepped back, okay, let's go down here, and where are we at it? Recap. Nope, box score. My bad. I'm sorry. Box score. Jaden Daniels ran the ball 7 times for 17 yards, 2.4 yards a carry. 7 for 17. I mean, he was running all over the Giants. 7 times for 17 yards. So that means their running backs picked up like 34 yards rushing the whole game. Well, how were they able to keep him in the pocket, him under control, I mean, you can say, oh, I got Micah Parsons. Well, yeah, okay. But I mean, Micah Parsons had 2 tackles. He did have half a sack. He had 2 tackles. It wasn't like he had 38 tackles. And they said they don't have Clark anymore clogging up the middle. So, I'll tell you, if we can continue, I mean, you don't even know what the end of the season is going to hold. But I mean, if we continue to have a hard time with, we got some solid players there. If we continue to have a hard time in the running game, Bowen's got to go. We got to get somebody in there that can devise something that can stop the run. I mean, but let's see where we at here. Is this it? All right. So we got Commanders just confirmed that the Giants fans' worst fear in prime time, that the Giants might be even worse than you thought. Well, once again, we got the guys. I think it could be some coaching. So, but anyway, coming into the season, the Giants could only hang their hats on one thing. The offense may have been shaky. The secondary was a major question mark, but the defensive front was supposed to be one of the best in the league. Absolutely. The unit produced 3 sacks in their opener against Washington, but couldn't do enough to sway the final result. Still, it was hard to complain about a loss to a team that went to the NFC Championship game last season. Well, I mean, a lot of they did keep the Giants in the game. The Giants' offense just couldn't do anything. I mean, it was 14-6 halfway. It was still a 1-score game halfway through the fourth quarter. Giants' offense just couldn't do anything. But after a stagnant showing for the Commanders on Thursday Night Football, and it was stagnant, it was. I mean, Jane Daniels had like 66 yards passing, like halfway through the third quarter. He wound up with like 200 yards passing, but like 150 or 140 or whatever those were like the last quarter. Well, all he did was just throw the ball because he had, they weren't, they were in, hurry up, let's score mode, right? He had like 66 yards passing. They had like less than 100 yards offense, like halfway through the third quarter. Commanders' struggles prove Giants' defense isn't what fans hoped. Well, according to this article, we've seen NFL teams have success by leaning into their strengths. Think of the 2024 Eagles pass rushing attack or the Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom defenses. While the Giants don't have the expectations those teams had, they clearly tried to create a similar identity by putting together an elite defensive line. Dexter Lawrence, who is ramping up. Dexter Lawrence was not Dexter Lawrence last week. He's still ramping up. It could take him a few weeks to get back fully into the swing of things. So, if he's still not looking like sexy Dexy, right, in his prime, right, it might take a few more weeks, right? Well, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeau form a unit that should strike fear into their opponents. They had a decent outing against Washington in week 1, putting pressure on Jaden Daniels, but struggling to stop the run. You have Bobby Okereke, who had 16 tackles, but it wasn't a dominant performance fans had hoped for, but there was still enough to be excited about for the rest of the season. Now, it looks like the Commanders may not be the juggernaut fans thought they were. They managed to finish their primetime game against the Green Bay Packers with a respectable score of 27-18. But they were outmatched for the entire night. As I said, it was 17-3 going into the last quarter. They scored 15 points in the last quarter. And all they did was throw the ball. Right? There was no running. As I said, Jaden Daniels had like 66 yards. I remember putting on my computer. 66 yards pass, like halfway through the third. It had like less than 100 yards of offense halfway through the third quarter. It was absolutely pathetic. The offensive line that held up against New York allowed 4 sacks and seemingly countless pressures. The Packers defenders were in the backfield all night, terrorizing Daniels as he scrambled to find some sort of open space. Now, they were terrorizing him, right? We had a couple rushes on him, but he was scrambling around looking for places to run. Well, he didn't have any hard time finding places to run against the Giants. The Commanders couldn't run the ball on the Packers either. totaling just 51 yards on the ground. They had 4.5 times that against the Giants. The offense that looked more than competent against the Giants was lost in Green Bay. Well, how is that? I mean, Green Bay's got a good defense. But I mean, is it 3 times better than the Giants defense? Hell no. Absolutely not. The Packers showed the G-men what a dominant defensive front looks like. And as I said, they didn't have Clark in there. We'll be facing him tomorrow in Dallas. They had waves of pass rushers and run stoppers ready to go at any moment. Giant fans didn't come into this season with high hopes, but they were at least supposed to have an elite defensive line, something to hold your hat on, or hang your hat on. I'm sorry. Now it looks like their biggest strength may not be a strength at all. Well, it's it's going to be one of those things. Let's see who's here at the end of the season. Right? It's a long season. Got a long way to go. Does Dable make it? Does Shane make it? But I mean, if we're giving up 200, I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care if it's Michael Vick. We keep giving up 200 and something yards rushing every week with this defense. The defense coordinator needs to go. Straight up, just needs to go. How we averaged 2 yards a carry against the Commanders last week. The Commanders got 51 yards rushing against the Packers. They got 200 and something against the Giants. Bones got to go. So Bones, the pink slips is getting ready to be mailed. It's put in the envelope. I'm getting ready to lick it. Getting ready to seal the envelope and open up my mailbox and stick it in the mailbox and send it off to Bowen. That dude's on final call. He better, better pull a rabbit out of his ace or out of a hat or something. Boy, he better start doing something, man. 200 and something yards of run. And that was one of the things Mr. Maurer was really complaining about. Is I hate seeing other teams just walking up and down the field on us. Like, we can't stop. We can't stop. Them. And I said the game, it could have been worse last year. Let's not forget. I said if there was once again, if woulda, coulda, shoulda, all that stuff. If there was like another 30 seconds left in the first half, next to 20 seconds, where Commanders might have scored another touchdown. It could have been 28-6. Could have been 21-3 at halftime. So, Bowen, your pink slip's just about to get ready to get mailed out to you, buddy. You better start doing something, man. If you can't with this team, I'm not saying we're the greatest team of all time, but with this group of talent, if you can't get better performance than what we had last week, you got to go. We got to get somebody else in there. And there's another thing. It's just it goes to show you like what the maybe the NFL, but the ones who make the schedule makers kind of think about, like the Giants. I'm not so sure maybe about the Cowboys, but this is like a slap in the face right here. I mean, playing against the Cowboys, the Giants, in Dallas at 1:00 in the afternoon, Eastern time. That's just a straight up kick in the cojones. You know what I mean? I mean, they're calling this a trash game, just straight up trash. Now, of course, they did this. They made the schedule up, quite a while ago. Yeah, I mean, they're making the schedule up, obviously before. Like it comes out like right around the draft and all that. So, I mean, the schedule's been made out for, quite some time. But, I mean, to put the Giants and the Cowboys, now we're going to go over this in a little bit and show you. Just any second here as I share my screen. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back in time to 2005. And we're going to go forward, right? And we're going to show you all the games played in Dallas. The Giants in Dallas, that's prime time, baby. But when they put the job in Dallas at 1:00, they're just saying this is just straight up trash. Straight up trash. They probably would put it at like 8 o'clock in the morning if they could, but they can't. They have to put it on at 1. I mean, this is just like, this must-see TV. Well, this is pretty much trash TV, as according to the NFL and the schedule makers and all. So let me go share my screen here. Once again, we'll go back in time. Share screen. Okay, here we go. We're going to go back to Eli's second season. Okay. All right, so we got 2005. So no, right here. No, all right, so we're going to go down at Dallas. It's going to take a little bit of time to go season to season, right? But okay, so at Dallas, 1 o'clock. Started at 1:02. I have no idea why, but whatever. So, all right, so they played October 16th, Dallas. We lost in overtime, 16-13. We had a whopping 11 first downs in the whole game. Meanwhile, Dallas had 25. But anyway, all right, so 2005. So let's go to the next season. Okay, so this is where, it starts becoming, hey, we might have something here. A little Romo, Eli kind of thing kind of going on, huh? We got some primetime football, right? So 2006. Once again, it's going to take a few minutes to go through all the years here. So we got 2006, right? Let's go down. Let's look at Dallas. At Dallas. Game was Monday Night Football, right? 2007. Next season. All right, 2007. Right, notice up there. Let's scroll on down. At Dallas, week 1. Sunday Night Football. Me and my son were at this game. Good game. Real good game. Back and forth, back and forth. It was 38-35, and then the Cowboys scored on a long touchdown pass, which went to, I can't remember who it was. Hurd, 51 yards. So with 4 minutes to go, we made it 38-35. Great game. Then about a minute later, Sam Hurd caught a 51-yard pass from Tony Romo to seal the deal. That was a really good game. My son and I were there. All right, so we have, right, once again, opening day game, Sunday night, 8:30. Right, great. Wound up being a great game. All right, so then we go next season, 2008. Right, 2008. Scroll down to Dallas. At Dallas. And where is at Dallas? At Dallas, Sunday night game, once again. So, it's either, past 3 years, it's either been a Sunday night or a Monday night game. Right, next season. 2009. Once again, I do apologize. It's going to take quite a few minutes to go to each season here. Right? Where's that Dallas? At Dallas, Sunday night, 8:20. Right? Let's go to 2010. Right? So it's like, Eli, Romo, Jerry Jones. Didn't matter so much who the Cowboys coach is, but Jerry Jones, maybe Tom Cox, must see TV. Right? Gotta see it. All right, so we got 2010. Did I do 2010? I can't remember. Hold on, let's see here. 2010. Okay, 2010. Where's the Cowboys at? At Monday Night Football, 2010. So it's either Sunday or Monday Night Football. It's been so far. So we got 2011. Whoops, my bad. Come on. There we go, 2011. All right, 2011. Scroll down. Dallas, Sunday night game. 37-34. That was the first game. Was that the first game ever? Maybe that was the second game. No, actually, that was the third game in Jerry World. Third game. 2009 was the first one. All right, so once again, another Sunday night game. We go to 2012. Next season, 2012. Scroll down to the bottom. At Dallas, 4 o'clock. Sunday, 4 o'clock. All right, 2013, next season. At Dallas, Sunday night, opening Sunday night game at Dallas, 36-31. My son and I were at this game. We had the Giants. The reason why the Giants had 6 turnovers, Cowboys had 1. We had 6, and we still should have beat them. We had 478 yards of offense. They only had 331. We outplayed them. We had 6 turnovers. Should have beaten them. Without question, should have beaten them. But wound up being a good game. All right. So that was 2013, 2014. Now we're getting there. We got about 10 years to go. 2014, where we at Dallas here. 4:30. Sunday, 4:30 game. Okay. 2015. All right, Dallas. Opening day game once again. Sunday night, 8:30. Sunday night game. 27-26. Another good game. Right. 2016. This was our last win, or actually it was our last win in Dallas, 2016. Right. It was 4:30. Right. Opening day game. 20-19. A lot of times you notice this. A lot of times, especially in the long period stretch there, right? First game of the season, Giants Cowboys. All right, next season, 2017. Opening day game was it Sunday night. We took a crapper, right? Crap game, absolute trash. We lost 19-3. Horrible game, horrible. But it was Sunday night, right, at Dallas. Week 1, once again, week 1, Giants playing the Cowboys in Dallas. I'm fine with that. I ain't got no problem with that. It's called a rivalry, a little ritual. Every year we open up in Dallas. All right, it's cool. I ain't got no problem with that. But that's because it's like must-see TV. When it's trash, and it feels like, whoa, we got the Giants. That's just straight up trash, right? Can't be putting them on TV anymore. They're trash. We want people to actually watch TV. Ain't nobody turning in. Ain't nobody out. You know what I mean? Cowboy fans will watch, but ain't nobody outside the area going to be watching. We turn on trash. That happened, right? All right, at Dallas, Sunday night game. Once again, 8:20. We lost 20-13. Started 0-2. What a shocker. I know. Lost the first 2 games of the season. Hard to believe. 2019. That once again, opening game. Right? 4:30 game, 4:25, whatever. First game of the season in Dallas. Good game. We only lost 35-17. Right? Okay, so then, of course, all these will be all losses because we're playing in Dallas and we're going against Dak Prescott. So 2020, all right, 2020, 37-34. This was a good game, right? But 4:30 game, right, in Dallas, and we were all only 0-5. All right. Of course, that was Judge's first season. Judge's second season. Let's see here in Dallas. 4:25, 4:30, whatever. We lost. Once again, we only lost 44-20. But right. And let's see. We got 2020. 2022. Where we at here? We're almost there. I promise. We're almost at the end here. All right. We lost 4:30 game to the Cowboys, 28-20. Then next season, 2023. So the last 2 seasons here. Well, that's right. The game we lost 40-0. We went to Dallas. Game was at 4:25. We only lost 49-17. So we only lost 89-17 to the Cowboys those 2 games that year. Only 89-17. All right, and then last season, all right, here we go, 2024, and we'll go to 2025 here. All right, so we got, where we at? There's at Dallas, we lost 27-20, right? 1-score game, okay? But it was 27-10 going into the last quarter. 4:30, right? Of course, it was the Thanksgiving Day game. But anyway, right? But we'll go to 2025, and you'll see all those 8 o'clock, 8:30, 4:30 games, all that 4-8, 4-8, 4-8, 4-8. And you come right here at Dallas, 1 o'clock. Wow. That's a kick in the cojones right there. That's just saying that's just straight up trash. Straight trash. Ain't nobody want to watch that garbage. I mean, as I said, as you saw, 2005, 6 and 7 and 8, Sunday night, Monday night, Sunday night, Sunday, Monday night, Monday, Sunday, Monday. I mean, bam, prime time, Dallas Giants in Dallas prime time. Not no more. They're just calling the Giants, the game, and pretty much the Giants just straight trash. Straight trash. Once again, unfortunately, Dable did say, he's doubtful. He's going on the trip, Thomas is. He's going on the trip, okay? So that's a little bit of hope, okay? But, the thing is, to go from, having a day off and then participating in practice a couple days and then having another day off and then there's like a Sunday game and so he's not playing and then you have a Monday off. It's really hard to start really ramping up, getting in game condition. Basically that's what he's going to have to wind up doing. Get some practice and all that stuff and everything. And all of a sudden, boom, he's going to be out there for 60 snaps playing, so obviously I'm sure they're going to, when he gets in there, they'll have, I don't know if they'll put him in there for 3 drives and then they'll put Hudson in there or somebody else in there for a drive and then Thomas back, or they'll play him for a quarter and then pull him out or whatever. Or they'll just put him in there and see how he feels. We'll have to wait and see. But, he's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy. Because you're going from just participating in practice or, practicing, to playing a full game. It's good luck there, buddy. But Dable said he did participate in practice. Obviously, Dable says all the time, he's getting better. He's getting better. So he's getting better. Hopefully, maybe, possibly against the Chiefs, right? But just the way it seems, Thomas is unfortunately going to be doubtful for this game coming up. And the Giants did bring up 2 guys from the practice squad. Once again, Elijah Garcia, who didn't do too bad, not too shabby in week 1 against the Commanders. Didn't do too bad. And they got Bozeman. They brought Rico Suave Bozeman up from the practice squad as well. So now linebacker, right? Now, they elevated them. Now, it doesn't not necessarily going to mean that he's going to get a jersey, but obviously, they elevated him. So we'll have to wait and see. But with McFadden obviously going on IR, they do need to get another. Would behoove them to have another linebacker. Okay, on the 53. So that would be Bozeman for this week. Now obviously, Bozeman would be big in the special teams area, right? But the Giants have a couple guys, nicked up and all of that, surprisingly. The Cowboys do too, right? Which really might help the Giants in the passing game, if you know what I mean. Let's see where we at here. All right. Okay. This is the Giants. Okay. All right, now. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, linebacker, he's out. Right, another reason why they brought up Bozeman. He's got a calf. He did not participate in practice. All right, so he's out. Andrew Thomas is doubtful. Right, with his foot, he's limited participation in practice. So he's doubtful. So once again, if you got doubtful, there's a really good chance you're not playing. Right. Then we got Nacho, who's doubtful. So, two of our, a couple studs on the, obviously Andrew Thomas is much more of a stud than Nacho is, but a couple of the guys on the offensive defensive line are doubtful. So Nacho, he's got a foot. So be interesting to see, right? Obviously they kind of like what Garcia brought to the table last week. So we have Sexy. Let's see if Garcia gets more snaps. Okay, this week than he did last week, especially with Nacho being out. But Garcia didn't do too bad, right? Wando Robinson is questionable. He has an ankle. He caught 6 passes on 8 targets for 55 yards last week. So basically, between him and Malik, they were a good portion of the passing, right? Giants passing yards, receptions, and all from last week. So, but Wandale Malik has got his back. I mean, he has no designation. They're just going he's a little tightness or whatever. But with his toe, his back, but he's good to go. Darius Slayton, he has a groin. So basically, our top 3 wide receivers, our best left tackle, our best offensive lineman, and our 3 wide receivers all got some kind of injury problem. Hard to believe, I know, for the Giants, but yeah, it is. Darius Slayton's got a groin, but he has no injury designation, so he'll be playing. And Mike McFadden, he's out with his foot. Dexter Lawrence, he took some. Obviously, he wound up taking some senior days off or whatever you want, veteran days off as they call them, right? But he'll be ready to go. But the Giants, have a couple of injuries. And I'm sure after this game's over, they'll have even more injuries. It's just the way it is with the Giants. It's amazing how some teams don't get injured and the Giants just keep getting injured. Simply amazing. But with the Cowboys, okay, they do have a couple of issues here. Like, here we go. Is this it? Am I going to be able to injury report? Okay, Deron Bland. He's out. Their cornerback with a foot. So that's going to be huge, right? Malik Hooker, the safety, right? He has a foot. Now, apparently, as of right now, Bland is out. Malik Hooker, Thomas, their other safety, he had something personal, but Hooker is a foot. Now, if you're a safety, anybody, actually any player, right, with a problem with a foot, we'll have to keep an eye on that without question. But Deron Bland, who's out, that certainly can help, obviously, the Giants in their passing game. So, but we did know, we obviously knew that Micah McFadden on injury reserve, and of course, Andrew Thomas. Hopefully, he'll be in there. Hopefully, within the next week or two. Hopefully, if the Giants really thought, okay, that Andrew Thomas was going to miss any length of time with injury, right? They probably would have put him on injury reserve maybe before the season started or whatever. We'd have to miss the first 4 games, but he wouldn't count toward the 53-man roster, right? All right, and so the Giants elevated 2 guys from the practice squad, Elijah Garcia and Swaze Bozeman, right? Giants are elevating defensive tackle Elijah Garcia and Swaze Bozeman from the practice squad for Sunday's game against the Cowboys. This is the second straight elevation for Garcia. He played 6 snaps last week against the Commanders with 1 tackle. Defensive tackle Nacho is doubtful with a foot injury he apparently suffered in practice this week. Bozeman was elevated to give the Giants linebacker some depth. Micah McFadden was placed on the IR this week with a foot injury, with his place on the 53-man roster taken by wide receiver kick returner Xavier Gibson. Linebacker Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles has already been ruled out due to a calf injury he aggravated in practice during the week. Bozeman played in 3 games for the Chiefs last season after going undrafted out of Southern Mississippi. He played 7 defensive snaps and 57 special team snaps for the Chiefs last season. Left tackle Andrew Thomas made the trip, though. Thomas, still recovering from his 2024 Liz Frank injury, is listed as doubtful to make his season debut. I said, just hoping, really, really hoping that, it's either going to be next week or against the Chargers. Benjamin! Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, with Andrew Thomas quite possibly being out, right? Hudson had his issues. He had his issues. At left tackle. Be interesting to see if he continues to struggle. Maybe we might see Bo in there. We'll have to wait and see. But the interior of the just really was not good. Now, what have you ever listened to Big Blue Kickoff live? I try to listen. They're live like around 1 or 2 o'clock, but they tape their show, so you can always watch it on YouTube or whatever. But they go live Monday through Friday. Well, one of the things they were talking about, they mentioned a lot, is that like the interior of the Giants' offensive line was not too good, but they also bring it up to the fact that Dean Quinn, the coach of the Commanders, who was the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys for a couple of years there, when we were going up against the Cowboys with Quinn in there, I mean, we had a hard time stopping it. The stunts and twists and all. I mean, he's just really, really good. I think he was with the Legion of Boom, if I'm not mistaken, too, with Seattle. So, Quinn's really good at dialing stuff up, right? So we had problems when Quinn was with the Cowboys. We had problems when this past week, against the Commanders. So he's really, really good at dialing stuff up. So, we gotta get the pocket. Easier said than done. Keep it clean, but you don't want to get pushed into Wilson because he can't see. He's 5'11". You get these 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" guys getting pushed into you. You can't see down the field, and if they get too close to you, you can't have a hard time releasing the ball, right? But I mean, if we can't, open up the inside, I mean, I have a real hard time, getting some yardage. I mean, look at that Scatterboo. I mean, the one he had, I think he ran Bo over. I mean, he got the ball and he's like running into guys like in his backfield already. It's like, I mean, these guys need some space. I mean, Tracy last year got some good yards. I mean, he got some, but it wasn't like when Tracy got the ball, he ran one guy over and he plowed another guy over, got into the second level, put a juke on a couple of guys and when he got the ball, he made a move here or there, right? Found a crease, found a hole, and he was off and running, But if you can't give him a crease, a little hole, anything, I mean, we had that. 15 carries for 30 yards last week. I mean, and the one thing is the biggest thing is that the Giants always have a hard time, starting the game off strong, getting some points, right, getting the lead, and then maybe being able to dictate it. What you're going to do to the other team. A lot of times the other team gets the lead and they can dictate what they're going to do, the Giants, right? So then it makes it so much harder, right? If you have to pass the ball, it makes it even that much harder, right? And one thing the Cowboys are probably going to do, they're going to probably put up some points against the Giants, right? So if they start putting some points up and we start getting down by 2 scores or whatever, and you have to throw the ball, very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So, but I mean, we definitely, got the offensive line, definitely. You really thought that, I mean, because they brought back all the guys from last year. So you really thought that, or they thought anyway, that they at least had a respectable offensive line because they brought back everybody, right? Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, right? John Michael Schmitz, Greg Van Roten, and Illuminor, right? So, but the offensive line's got to do much better. I mean, a lot of things got to go a lot better. But the offensive line. And so we've always seemed to have problems with the Cowboys too. I always remember there was that one thing, and it's funny. It was true. I think it was the game we lost 40-0. I think it was because once you're down 3,000-0, you can't run the ball. You have to pass the ball, pass. So, Daniel Jones was just dropping back, and the Cowboys are pinning their ears back and just going. I think he got sacked 6 times. I think something like that. He got hit like 800 times. Well, there's a video. I guess it was maybe on national TV or whatever it was, but one of the Cowboys' defensive linemen was standing in front of the other guys, right? So the camera's behind the bench. So almost all the Cowboys, they had their backs to the camera, except for this one guy who's in the front, looking at his guys. He's like, you get a sack, and you get a sack. He's like Oprah Winfrey, and you get a sack, and you get a sack. Like, I said a little while ago, we lost like two 1-score games last year to the Cowboys. Right? Be very, very interesting to see. I mean, are we closing the gap or are we getting even worse? Right. All right, and finally here, good old ABCDEFG Lamb calls out Drew Phillips. Well, apparently, I guess Drew Phillips last year tackled him and hurt his shoulder. And ABCDEFG is a little ticked off about that, I guess. Well, I mean, he had a good game against the Eagles. I really didn't watch it. I can't stand watching the Eagles. Life's short. You get my age, life is short. I'm not wasting 3 hours of my time watching the Eagles. But, he had 7 catches, over 100 yards. But the only thing that's going to come probably ever be remembered for that game for ABCD Lamb was the fact that he dropped like 94 passes. So be nice maybe if he drops that many passes against the Giants. I'd be fine with that. Or does he just drop passes against the Eagles? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. But I mean, he did have a good game, but he dropped some passes. So instead of him maybe shooting his mouth off and trying to get back at Drew Phillips, maybe he just shut his mouth and earned some of his I think he's making it's like $34 million a year. His salary pays annual $34 million, and maybe he just shut his mouth up. Worried about catching some passes here, but ABCDEFG Lamb has revenge on his mind for the Giants cornerback Drew Phillips. Pound per pound, the NFC East might be the most contentious division in the NFL. Literally, no combination of teams, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Giants like each other. That's true. And I can't stand the Eagles or the Cowboys, but it's respectful hate and all that. I would want no other 3 teams in this division than with the Giants and the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Commanders. It's an honor to have those 3 teams in there, without question. Without question. There's no 3 other teams I would rather have in the whole of NFL. The other 3 with the Giants than the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Commanders. Although I did grow up, obviously, with the NFC East when the Cardinals were in there, but unfortunately, they had to go bye-bye, so it is what it is. But nearly every game is contentious, and there is no love lost between people on opposing sidelines. On Friday, Cowboys wide receiver ABCDEFG Lamb made sure that there will be an extra layer of tension when he and the boys face off against the Giants on Sunday. The 2 teams will clash for the first of 2 meetings in 2025, and Lamb will likely line up against second-year cornerback Drew Phillips. Slot cornerback, slot wide receiver. Well, they don't all the time wind up in the slot, but majority of the time they're in the slot. While that may not seem inconsequential, it figures to be an electric matchup. Lamb's got his route running ability is phenomenal, without question. And Drew Phillips is in his 2nd season, obviously wanting to play with, wanting to up his game from last season, a phenomenal rookie season. Let's see if he can up it a little bit, right? No better test at all, right, than ABCDEFG Lamb, right? Last season, Lamb played through a shoulder injury for multiple weeks that seemed to worsen after a matchup with the Giants. Phillips was the player who laid the hit on Lamb and supposedly led him to missing the final 2 games of the season. Lamb hasn't forgotten that, and on Friday, he said he intends on taking revenge. Going to take revenge on you. ABCDEFG Lamb says he's got something for the Giants cornerback Drew Phillips, who injured him last year. Damn, I got something for you. Dude, why don't you just worry about catching the ball? Pretty much blew the game against the Eagles. Why don't you worry about catching a football? He tackled me and he hurt me. Oh, are you a little baby? Huh? Oh, he hurt me. ABCDEFG said, he hurt me. Mommy, change my diaper. He hurt me. Oh, little bitch. He tackled me and he hurt me, so I've got something for him for sure, Lamb said. I got something for him. What that revenge looks like wasn't clear. It could be Lamb saying that he's going to hurt Phillips in some way, or he hopes that he'll pop off on the stat sheet and go for 100-plus yards and a pair of touchdowns. Either way, the contention between these two promises to yield some entertaining football. Lamb will also be looking to redeem himself after dropping 2 passes on the Cowboys' final drive against the Eagles in Week 1. If you have Lamb on your fantasy football team, make sure he's starting. Oh, yeah, I mean, he'll probably put up some insane numbers. Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance of that. Lamb has the best 1-2 punch of motivation of any receiver heading into Week 2. With his dismay of Phillips, as well as his costly drops in Week 1 against the Eagles, although he did put up 110 yards on 7 catches, he made 4 drops that went a long way in hurting the Cowboys' chances to upset the Eagles. Now, let's say, I mean, I wonder, does he just drop passes against the Eagles, or will he drop some passes against the Cowboys, though? Yeah, once again, yeah, the Eagles are good, but it also helps to have some luck on your side. And, of course, the guy making $34 million a year drops 4 passes against you. You're pretty lucky. Right. Phillips didn't face much from the Commanders in Week 1, defending 0 passes while making 4 tackles. Now against Dallas, he'll have Lamb's hostility towards him to deal with. All right, now let me show you what's he. I think where we at here. Let me share my screen here. Show you what Phillips did last year. And there we go. All right, share the screen and show you what Phillips did last year. Okay, apparently, now he must have missed the first game against the Cowboys, right? Because the only one that he played in, this must be the one that ABCDEFG is talking about. This Week 13, okay, against Dallas, right? Because Drew started, played 52 snaps, graded out of 66.9, which would have been a lot higher, which probably would have been over 70, but his tackling was 28.6 because he apparently, according to PFF, he missed 2 tackles. He had 6 tackle opportunities. He made 4 of them, but he missed 2. So that brought his grade down quite a bit. So you'll notice here, he made 3 tackles. He made 1 assisted tackle. He missed 2 tackles, according to PFF. So he missed 33% of his tackles. So not very good. Not very, very good. Okay, now, obviously, 1 or 2 of those missed tackles could have been against ABCD Lamb, right? Now, in the game, he had 4 targets. There we go. Right? He was targeted 4 times. He gave up 4 completions. Now, probably all might have been to Lamb. Okay. He gave up 54 yards. He averaged 13.5 yards of reception, but one of them was a 30-yarder. Where are we at here? There we go. 30-yarder. He gave up 41 yards of yak. So basically what it was, he caught pretty much 4 passes for a grand total of 13 yards. He made 41 yards after catch, though. So he's catching these quick passes, and he's taking off with them, right? One of them, he went for 30 yards, right? So it's probably Lamb, I'm thinking, right, in the slot. This is where Phillips was. It was in the slot. So one of Lamb's catches probably went for 30 yards. I didn't look to see. But the other 3 receptions went for 24 yards. So basically, the other 3 receptions that Phillips gave up were 3 receptions for grand total of 24 yards or 8 yards of reception. So he gave up one kind of long one, a 30-yarder. Okay. But he didn't give up a touchdown. He didn't pick off any passes. He didn't, no pass breakups or nothing. Okay. So you see right here. Okay. He was in the box 2 times, but he was in the slot 45 times. He was the corner, right, 5 times. So, was it the 52 snaps? Was it 52 snaps? Yeah, 52 snaps, right here. He was in the slot 45 times. So ABCD plays, obviously, a lot of the snaps come out of the slot. So good chance that, all the receptions that he gave up were against ABC Lamb. He gave up 4 receptions. So, but once again, all in all, he didn't give up no touchdowns or nothing like that, right? You get 66.9. Now, I mean, it's very difficult. He gave up, right? Quite possibly, once again, against Lamb, 4 receptions for like 13 yards. And then there was 41 yards of yak. Okay, so basically Lamb's 3-4 yards hitting him in stride or whatever, and he's trying to take off and do his thing. Right, so he's not like running down the field, right, catching a 20, 25-yard pass down the field on whoever it was against Phillips, right? Whoever Phillips went in the slot against the Cowboys, quite possibly was Lamb, right? Gave up 4 catches, and the 4 catches totaled 13 yards, right? So that tells you is the slants or what something short and quick, screens, right? Something short and quick. Maybe get the guy obviously on the run, hit him, then take off or whatever. Now he did give up 1 for 30 yards altogether, right? But he gave up 41 yards of yak. So the guy was catching the ball and taking off, right? But Drew Phillips did not give up anything deep down the field. The 30-yarder he gave was pretty much all yards after the catch, right? But apparently, in that game he made 4 tackles, 3 tackles and 1 assisted tackle. And apparently one of those 3 tackles, he hurt me. He tackled me. It's football, you little biatch. I got something for him for sure. Okay, whatever you say, pal. But, now whether ABCD winds up going off or not, who knows? But it was sure, my thing, it sure would have been nice if he caught the balls against the Eagles, right? But, if he winds up having a good game, because now they have 2 dynamic wide receivers. Lamb's obviously the best, but they got 2 really good wide receivers. And so Dak Prescott still throwing the ball really well. He had a very good game against the Eagles. So he has a good game against the Eagles. He certainly could have a good game against the Giants. So it's once again, it's going to be tough. Can the Giants ever beat Dak Prescott again? It all starts on the line of scrimmage. Control the line of scrimmage. Another one of the things I did hear too was that I think they said Dak has played like grand total 13 games or 15 games, or I think grand total against the Giants, I think it was. Right? He's been sacked in those 15 games 15 times. 15 times in 15 games. We sacked the guy once a game. We can't get to him. Can't get to him. Or he gets out of the pocket and he runs, he scrambles, and he completes a pass or whatever. Can't get to him. We really need to dominate the line of scrimmage, but it's going to be easier said than done. Easier said than done. So hopefully, somehow we can figure a way to pull it out, but we need to dominate on the line of scrimmage. Offensive line's got to play a lot better. Hopefully Sexy will get a little bit better. He said it's going to take a few weeks for Sexy to get full beast mode. It's going to take him a little bit of time. Right? But between Kayvon and Abdul, Burnsy, Carrick, got to find a way, man. And I said this offensive line's got to do a much better job. Much better job. And if we do, hopefully not, I hope not. But if we do wind up start falling behind all that, be interesting to see if we have a dart alert. Like, especially if we wind up getting like behind like whatever 3 scores halfway through the 4th quarter or something like that. Whatever. Just saying we're losing 28-7, 7 minutes to go in the game. Be interesting to see if Dart comes in the game or not. Very, very interesting. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 20 minutes. Vinny G-Man, as always, thank you, brother. Thank you. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I really appreciate it. So whoever listens to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.